Hello, all my Pisces friends. This is Maxine Taylor with your astrological forecast for November 2023. And before I jump into it, it's a really lovely forecast. A couple of responses to your requests. First of all, I am so excited about my new book. I gotta talk about this for a second. It's called Secrets from the Womb, so you know what it's about. The hidden pact that runs your life. This book is not for everybody. It's for the person who is on the path, has seen their story, has the movie we call our life, seen the pattern, how it takes off and everything's good and then things fall, whatever the pattern happens to be, and is ready to move into what I call the magic and stay there. And I asked Spirit, why is it that so many people who are spiritual and have experienced, have an experience of God, allow themselves to move back into their story when their button is punched? And I got the answer. And in this book, the answer is in 3 simple steps. I've got testimonials from my students and clients who I've worked with on getting the 3 steps and working with them, and their lives have transformed. And so I put it out there. If this is speaking to you, if you are so sick and tired of watching the same pattern in yourself and the people around you, this book was written for you. Okay. Now, some people don't want to read a book. They want a face-to-face session. If that's the case, just go to my website, MaxineTaylor.com, and set up a time with me, and I will walk you through the 3 steps, simply, easily, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, that's the first thing. Then I've gotten requests from many people about when I'm going to start teaching astrology again. I finished a series of courses just last week, and I'm going to start a whole new series in January. If you're on my mailing list, you will get that information. If you're not on my mailing list, go to MaxineTaylor.com and sign up for it. Put your data down. Tell me how much astrology you know. And so I have a way to contact you. Okay? Now, some of you don't want to take astrology courses in a group. You want private one-on-one sessions. I did that prior to COVID when I mentored people, and I loved it because what I did was I made each session about the student personally. The textbook is the student's birth chart, mother's birth chart, father's birth chart, family's birth chart. And so you learn how to read your own chart and the family's charts, as well as the world's, but especially your own. So if this is what you like, and you want to sign up for my mentoring program, once again, go to MaxineTaylor.com and get in touch with me, and we'll talk. Okay, now look at this gorgeous forecast. Better get my glasses on here. Okay. Well, first of all, Mercury is getting ready to go retrograde in December. So it's going to move into the shadow of the retrograde on November 25th. Every planet that goes retrograde, and that means every planet but the sun and the moon, and we consider the moon to be a planet. Every planet that goes retrograde will move into the shadow of the retrograde first, then the retrograde, then it will go direct and come out of retrograde and immediately go into the shadow again. So it's a pre-retrograde shadow for Mercury that lasts a few weeks, couple of weeks, and a post-retrograde shadow. Now, when Mercury's retrograde, everything is confused. Mercury rules our mouth and our minds. And it is when it goes retrograde, people are so confused. This is the time to tie up the loose ends of unfinished projects. It is not the time to start a new job, a new project, because any new project, because that project will fizzle out completely or have to be redone during the year. Okay? Next month, in December, rather, we'll talk about retrograde Mercury. Okay? Now, let's talk about Jupiter, the greater benefic. It's in your third house of communication, but it's retrograde. Jupiter rules truth. It rules abundance. It rules money. It is God's law. It is the good guy of the zodiac. And in your third house, it's opening your mind, whether for astrology or just in general. But because it's retrograde, it's not functioning at its peak performance. When it goes direct, the last day of the year, then you'll be able to move forward. Are you writing a book? Are you doing a blog of any sort? Jupiter in the third house will help you with that. It expands your mind, your conscious mind. It helps you with short distance travel as well. So your outlook becomes optimistic, really beautiful. The next benefic planet is Venus, okay? The lesser benefic. It's an oxymoron when you say that. Venus is love. Venus is money. Venus is art and beauty and all things dealing with love. It has been in your seventh house for some time now. And on the 8th, it's going to move into your 8th house. Now, the 8th house deals with secrets. It deals with transformation. It deals with transmutation. In other words, your love nature is going to undergo a transformation. Once a year, Venus is in your 8th house. And this can be wonderful. You're looking, first of all, with Venus in your 7th house, you may meet somebody, which would be lovely. When it moves into your 8th house, you may question whether it's real or not, okay? And what you do is you ask the questions that are on your mind. When Venus moves out of the 8th house, probably in December, you will have your answers. Now, look at this area here. The yellow planet is the sun, the giver of life. It's in your 9th house. And so your higher mind has been triggered. You want to fly. You want to get away. You want long distance travel. With the world being what it is, you might kind of double think that. Your higher mind is triggered and you see the big picture. On the 22nd, the sun moves into your 10th house of leadership, 10th house of your career. And there you are in a position of leadership, no matter what your career is, okay? The sun is the center of our life. It's the center of our solar system. It is the giver of life. And so if you get an opportunity to move upward in your career, grab it. Now you might say, well, what about Mercury? Mercury is not retrograde. Not yet. Mercury is in the shadow of the retrograde starting the 25th. So yes, you can move upward in your career. The red planet is Mars. Mars is what is number one to us. So we have the center of our life and what is number one to us in the same houses. First of all, with Mars in the 9th house, you're in a hurry to move forward. You want to spread your wings and soar. Mars is passion. Mars is what we fight with and fight for. And so your higher mind is open. And there can be an impulsive trip, long distance trip. I'm not saying there is, but there could be. Okay, you will take a stand for your beliefs. And on the 24th, Mars will join the sun. And the two leaders, the sun, the giver of life, what our world is about, and Mars, what is number one to us, both in your career. If you get a job offer to move upward, do it. Now, Mercury is what we think about and talk about. And yes, it's going to be in the shadow, but it is from a position of leadership, you will express whatever it is your career requires that you express. Mercury is in your 9th house now, and you're seeing a bigger picture. On the 10th, it joins the sun and Mars and says, I've got some new ideas I want to put into operation in my career. Super. Now, on the 13th, we have a new moon in 20 degrees and 44 minutes of Scorpio. On the new moon, energy starts moving forward, okay? And it grows, and it grows, and it grows. 2 weeks later, we have a full moon. And this full moon is on the 27th. It falls in 4 degrees and 51 minutes of Gemini in your 4th house of home, family, real estate, and everything that provides emotional security. So we've got you spreading your wings and ready to fly with the new moon. And then the full moon says, home sweet home. And from there, the energy wanes. And just before the next new moon, 2 days before usually, we're in the dark of the moon. And you don't want to start anything then because there's no energy. But on the new moon, that's when the energy begins. So, don't you love your forecast? I think it's terrific. So till we meet again, may the stars shine brightly on you and yours. Bye for now.